There she is with her brew.
It's
So,
hot.
welcome to the first podcast of 2021. It's obviously quite tricky doing these now with the current state of the world, but it's very nice to see you, Mum. First time this year, isn't it? I think.
Oh God, yeah.
Is it first time I've seen you this year?
Yeah, it must be.
You clearly miss me.
Christmas Eve was the last time, wasn't it?
Yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a little catch up now. Now, one of the things which become quite a common question after the last podcast from a few people was about obviously the music Mum's been involved with, and are there any good stories behind the songs or what inspired the songs? So there was a few songs named, which so on there, Mum, we had How Come, we had Kushti Rai, we also, a song I particularly like, so I'll throw it in there, which is Any More for Any More, but maybe I'm biased, and the reason I really like that is because I know you had a big hand in the writing of that song. But yeah, so if you want to do us a few anecdotes of the stories behind the songs, that'd be lovely.
Wasn't it just?
Yeah, so you crack on. I'm going to drink my tea.
I'll start with How Come.
Yeah.
And that was written during the period where Ronnie and me came out of the closet.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was actually.
Okay.
And so there were various references to me.
Yeah, I'm already putting them together in my
Yeah,
head now.
You
Okay.
can see it exactly.
Oh,
that
brilliant.
I cast a spell on him. You know, he wasn't in his right mind exactly.
Oh, brilliant.
So he took that
Yeah.
and decided to throw everything at it. And one of the things was we were staying with Barb, who was a good friend of mine and Ronnie's, but she was actually my mate, and she was Ronnie's PR.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so we stayed with her for a few weeks while we were kind of homeless and on the run. And it was my birthday, and she bought me lilies. And coming from a very Irish
Yes.
mum, who was absolutely, everything had a meaning. She was superstitious beyond belief.
Of course.
And of course, lilies are the death flowers,
Yeah,
right?
so that's where the lyric come from.
So, yeah, put your lilies on your birthday.
Yeah.
Even your best mate wants to see you dead. And then it went on to everything that was sort of, everything that amounted to the fact that I was the evil one casting this spell. So he just wanted to send it all up. And funny enough, we never did like How Come. Not because of the lyrics particularly. We just thought it wasn't that good as a song.
I think it's a brilliant song.
And so we couldn't believe it when it did so well.
And everyone listen to the podcast. You let us know if you think it's a good song. I personally
Too,
think
because
it's
every
ace.
time I hear it, I think, oh, for fuck's sake, not
Oh,
again.
it didn't take you long to swear, did it? Yeah.
No.
Okay, so see, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's where that came from.
I did wonder about that Lily's lyric, so there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about Kushti Rai?
Oh, Kushti Rai was the one that I wrote about Ronnie,
Yeah.
which was basically I was taking the piss out of him because my good gypsy mate Molly
Yeah.
used to call him when he was big a pain.
Yes.
She said, "Oh, there he goes again, the Kushti Rai," which means nice gentleman in
Okay.
Romany.
Yeah.
And it was again tongue in cheek.
And while we mentioned Kushti Rai, big shout out Des Horsfall, Kushti Rai. Just get
Oh
it in
yes, of course, Des.
Got to get that in there.
Des got a band together and called it Kushti
Yep.
Rai and did some nice stuff.
Yeah, he's done some wicked stuff.
But yeah, that's and also a really good version of it was Henry McCulloch.
Okay.
He did to me the best version of Kushti Rai.
So Kushti Rai is basically just about Ronnie then
It's a piss take. It's me
taking the piss.
taking piss out of Ronnie and using that phrase.
Yeah, because I've heard you use that phrase
which
a
was-
few times, probably normally when you've had a beer, and I never knew what it said. I just thought you were slurring, to be honest.
No. That's a good man, as opposed to Jack the Lad, which is a mush.
Yeah. Yeah.
A bloke is a mush and a rye is a gentleman.
Well, we're clearly Christy Rise in this family,
Oh,
aren't
absolutely.
we? He says, wearing a scarf.
Yeah. It's not quite the same, darling. That's terribly college. That's awfully sort of preppy, sweetie.
Oh, piss off. I'm not preppy.
Oh, I got
Listen
that
to this
one, babe.
accent. And then Any More for Any More, which is obviously one of my favourites. I love the
That
lyrics,
was-
but also, which some people might not know listening to this, is a few years ago for World Vinyl Day,
Oh, yeah.
Tom Odell actually did a cover of Any More for Any More, which is it's really good. It's worth listening to. But he did it for World Vinyl Day, and there was only a limited release on it. But I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, the inspiration
And the
behind it
money
obviously
went-
is
The money went to charity, so I didn't get a bead out of that.
yeah, Tom. So,
Cheers, Tom. Mate. I've got another one I've just discovered. Would you like me to send it to you?
best bit
sweetie?
is if you look on YouTube, if you look at it, a lot of people under it have said like, "Oh wow, these lyrics are amazing,"
Oh, good.
and people are like, "Yeah, Tom's great," and then the hardcore's like,
That's
"Tom
good.
Odell didn't write this," they've got your back.
Oh, good
So,
grief.
but so yeah, obviously it's about travelling, being on the road.
It was. It was pretty much written every day. It was exactly that. It was about living on the road, which we did for the next 18 months,
Yeah,
and the utter joy of it.
yeah,
You know,
the freedom and
cooking those fantastic Guinness stews
yeah,
over an open fire, of the freedom, just travelling and wondering where we were going to go, not really caring,
yeah,
and just it was wonderful. I look back on it and think, if only we could have kept that up. If only
Yeah.
life didn't get in the way, that we could have continued. It was. We did sort of reignite it whenever we could, but it gets into your bones. It's the way to live. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
well, it's freedom, isn't it? It's complete and
It's
utter.
freedom, and of course, then it was such a different time, because it was 73. It went from 72 to 73 through to 74, and you could,
Yeah,
you could. There were pullover stops. You could pull over pretty much anywhere. You could have an open fire. You could do all these things, just as the old Romany used to be able to before that all started clamping down. And I blame the New Age travellers.
Oh,
I'd like
God.
to shoot that.
don't go there. Christ.
But they really were the last straw for the more nomadic way of life.
Yeah.
Because then you couldn't even pull off the road into a lay-by
Yeah,
overnight, or all sorts of things that you couldn't do. Anyway, that was that encapsulated the freedom of, and also the knowledge, the kind of knowledge that this is special, because this is going to go,
yeah, yeah.
and that's in the lyrics. That this is now.
I really like it because I just think I find it quite a relaxing song to listen to, but it's quite joyful and nice, and it kind of sets
Yeah.
in your head when you listen to it. You kind of have that.
Wheels.
Yeah, and for me personally, being, as we've always said, I mean, my middle name's Bloody Liberty. I am quite a
Freedom.
free spirit on the go and love travelling. Not that I'd use a bloody awesome car. I much prefer a nice car and a 5-star hotel mum. But we have
I
our
know you
differences.
blush.
But as in no, I totally get it. I really like the song. And then I tell you what, one more which wasn't on the list, but we might as well get it out there. Ooh La La.
Oh, well, of course.
It's got to be Can
Ooh La
inspired, or
was written by Ronnie and Woody,
Ronnie and Woody. Yeah,
and that was a title track of the Last Faces album.
Yeah.
Which was Ooh La La. Haven't really got the story, except, the story that we take from that regarding Ronnie was that he sang it on the Faces album, but he also did he did do a good job. But then it became one of his standards when he became Ronnie Lane and Slim Chance, and
Yes.
it was the one that everybody wanted. And on the back of it came the Can,
Yes.
which then I did once or twice, and that became a regular feature.
As seen on the BBC.
As seen, yes, and as not seen on all those where I was edited out, which I thought was fearful, really, when you think of what people do now. And it was just traditional.
And what? Because it was too racy?
Well, yes, good old Bob, Whistling Bob. Well, he did. I did it on the old grey whistle test, and he banned it.
Well, if it's any consolation for your kids watching YouTube nowadays, it's probably nice not to see me mum's arse getting thrown round in a skirt.
It wasn't that risque. It was a proper can.
Yeah.
And, like it should be, like they did the Follies and all that old rubbish that they didn't wear knickers. It's not true. They did.
Good to know. Good to know, Mum.
Very lacy and racy.
Good. All right. Well, there's some of the songs I can think of off the top of my head. Have you got any others like through the whole time, which with Ronnie
Barcelona,
or what you? Well, yes.
That one's written about
That's
the boat trip.
the
Welsh Liberty.
The Welsh.
Yes, that one. Yeah. That had nothing to do with you being named Liberty. That was a different story.
Well, we covered that in one of our earlier podcasts, didn't we? Which was a good story.
And again, it's brilliant because if you've heard the story about the boat, then you listen to Barcelona, and Ronnie's written the whole story, apart from what a fucking liberty. But he's actually written that it was actually quite traumatic when it was in this storm.
Yeah, I know the lyrics point towards the storm being pretty treacherous, doesn't it?
So that is worth listening to.
Well,
we've got recap the story.
Well, they've got a lot of listening after this. We've got Eddie Moore, Freddie Moore they need to listen to hear what we just discussed. Barcelona to listen to the lyrics. Got to listen to How Come Now. I'll probably listen to it in a whole new light.
Yeah.
To be fair, and Kushti Rai. So we're racking it up here, aren't we?
I think we are.
If there's any other songs you guys out there like and would like to know the story behind, just drop it in the comments and we can try and answer them. Well, I say we. Mum can try and answer them. Yeah. Can we?
Well, yes, I can rattle through my brains.
I'm trying to think if there's any others. While I've got you, any other songs which stand out. What about with like stuff with Pete or with Eric or any of that? Because there was Annie. I mean, we obviously know what inspired Annie.
And I haven't given Annie her credence yet.
No, you haven't. I barely mentioned her.
Because Annie was one of the most important things about living at Fishpool.
Yeah.
She was just one amazing lady. She was an old lady, and she would step straight out of a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And she was absolutely wonderful. She inspired all of us.
Really?
Yes, because the song Annie was written by Eric, Ronnie and me about Annie.
Yeah.
And it became a pretty well-known song.
Yeah, no, it's massive.
Eric was crazy about her. Absolutely loved her to bits.
What, she just sold to the earth?
Yes, and she was funny and she was naughty.
Yeah.
She was very funny. And I don't know, you can't, I mean, you could say everybody's favourite granny.
Yeah.
But she was more than that. She was from another world altogether. She was really and truly sort of, her family originated from deepest, darkest parts of Wales.
Yeah.
And she had this past that she never really spoke about, but
Right.
we knew had been very interesting.
Yeah, okay.
And also soaked in folklore and
Yeah.
I mean, the things she taught me, I remember once, I don't know what it was, I had something on my arm, a sort of strange lump. And she said, that needs a mustard poultice.
A what?
A mustard poultice, like mustard?
Yeah, I know what mustard is.
Yeah, well, a poultice, you soak it with bread and then you just whack it on and tie it on and it draws out any impurities.
Right.
I tend to use onions if I do that, but
yeah.
Annie said, this is super good. Oh, bloody hell. How long do I leave it on, Annie? Oh, about an hour. Well, when I took the master poultice off, I had a first-degree burn.
Bloody hell.
She hadn't. She was poor-sighted and she didn't really have specs.
Yeah.
And she doubled up on mustard anyway. So, but I did trust all her old wives.
Yeah. Oh, there you
When
go.
when I was just thinking, she had some great remedies, and the first one that sprang to mind was the one that,
Yeah.
that was a hot one.
We'll give that one a miss.
But she was sensational, absolutely sensational.
Oh,
I think about her a lot
Yeah. Well,
to this day.
I'll tell you what then. What we'll do, we'll leave it there, and I think maybe for next time, if you can rustle up some more of your Annie stories as well, because that'd be lovely to get some more in about her, and we'll take it from there. Yeah.
Yeah, I want input from the chaps that listen to this.
There you go. You've heard it from the good lady herself.
Well, you've heard it simply because we've been fallows since. We've been fallows since furlough. No, I'm not furloughed, am I?
Are you still getting your pension? Or are you only getting part of it?
Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm taking the piss.
Oh,
Well, yeah, okay, there you go. So, yeah, we don't know how regular we can do these because it's a bit trickier now, and I've obviously got some other commitments at the moment which are seeing us busy. Oh, the other thing, random fact, Mum's going to become a grandmother twice and a great-grandmother once this year, 2021.
Great-grandmother.
No, yeah, you've got one,
Yeah.
You're great, but obviously there's another on the way.
That's two greats.
And then I'm having another kid,
Yeah.
and then Rube's
Rube.
having another kid.
Yeah.
So you're going to be all like
Broker
naughty
Christmas.
nannered right up this year. But yeah, so we'll leave it there and we'll be back soon.